Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and it is October 5th, 2022. And I know summer officially ended a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, but to me, the summer ends on the last day of September. So you'll see the fall decorations are up. The first round of Halloween candy has been purchased, and we are ready for pumpkin everything in my house. And you guys, guess what? It's 26 days to Halloween, 50 days until Thanksgiving, and 81 days until Christmas. Are you freaking out yet? I am not. I am calm, cool, and totally collected. So you guys, tonight, just a little bit of news for you. Tonight starts the new Love Boat. Who will be watching? I can't say that this is on the top of my watch list. However, my understanding that Isaac the bartender is on the show, so it might be a reason to tune in. So let me know if you guys are planning to tune in, or if you do tune in, I would love to know your thoughts. And guess what else? Today is James Bond Day. So the infamous movie series is filmed all over the world, including destinations like Jamaica, the UK, Turkey, Mexico, Switzerland, Hong Kong, and so many more destinations. But guess what? Just because they're filmed in those destinations, the movies don't necessarily take place in those destinations, but the movies themselves take place in London, France, Monaco, Greece, and even on the Orient Express. So it's truly an international travel feast for your eyes. So that's a fun little fact for today. So I'm thinking that the next James Bond movie might take place on an AmaWaterways, a river cruise ship. Gary Murphy is here, and we're going to ask him about whether or not that would be a good idea in just a few minutes. But first up, we've got Ask KHM Today. Wrong guy, Gary, you're not supposed to be on here yet. I love it. So one of the challenges of selling travel is asking those questions that can get personal or private. They get into the details of someone's life, but the answers to these questions can be really important and can impact what we recommend and also the information that we give to clients pre-travel. So how do I delicately respond to a client when they allude to the fact that there is a recovery or a sober situation? Are there questions I should ask that would help me seek this information without seeming nosy? Now, one of the things that I love about KHM is if I don't have the words, there's likely someone who does. And that someone today is Amy Garner, who's the co-chair of our DE&I committee here at KHM Travel Group. And Amy, you are one of those people that I would consider a wordsmith. And you're someone that when at a loss for words or an idea, I can come to you and say, how would you phrase this? And you seem to have a talent for this. So you've made my short list of people that I actually give this term to.
Oh, thank you very much for that distinction. I consider myself just wordy, not so much a wordsmith. So.
Well, this is a tough one, but one that comes up frequently. And we're talking about that the idea, it's not an idea, it is a fact. There are people that love to travel that are in a recovery or, a sober situation. And there's so many products out there that allude to not a sober or recovery situation. So how do we address this with our clients?
Absolutely. So I have some personal experience within my own family where we have family members who are sober and close friends. So we deal with this in our own personal travel, and by nature, some of my clients are as well. It can be a little bit tricky because a lot of times people are attracted to destinations because they have those drink packages or they're all inclusive. But for folks who kind of allude to being sober, a good suggestion can just be to kind of, first of all, ask. A lot of people are a lot more open about their sobriety than we would assume. Because once they enter sobriety, they realize that the stigma is gone for them. And so another thing that you can do is actually use some terms like the friend of Bill. If you're a friend of Bill W., he's one of the founders of the Alcoholics Anonymous program. And so you'll actually see that listed sometimes when you're at resorts or on a cruise ship, where you'll see that there is a meeting of the Friends of Bill W. And lots of people wonder, who is this elusive Bill W. that seems to have friends on every ship? But it's really, that's kind of a impromptu AA meeting happening,
Mhm.
on your ship or at your resort, that your clients can visit if they feel like they need to. And definitely in that environment, it can definitely be triggering. So it's great
Mhm.
to provide those resources. And so sometimes if I have a client that is hinting around it, I'll just say, oh, are you a friend of Bill? And they'll say yes or no.
Okay.
And then if so, then I can say, okay, would you like me to get some information about, meetings that are happening on board? I'll mention to them that they may see that friends of Bill terminology.
Mhm.
But also there's directories online. So you could even do a little, depending on the level of service you're providing for this particular trip, do a little digging to find nearby meetings. And so even at Disney World, there's some close by in Celebration that you can go to, and they actually have cute little visitor chips that they give out, to kind of make it like a souvenir that you get to take
Right.
home also.
So I know that on many ships there's drink packages and things like that, and there's sort of rules around how those are purchased, and both people in the cabin or all the adults in the cabin have to purchase that, and that is it's a common one, not only for people that might drink that much and being paired with someone who's not going to drink that much, but specifically for this situation where someone is a drinker and then someone who is in that sober recovery situation. What are some of the tips that you have? Are these rules flexible?
I have found that they are sometimes flexible, especially if there's a medical need. And so, something that I think we forget is that alcoholism is really considered a disease. And so, sometimes, clients can get a medical exception. A lot of times, the road to sobriety is because they start having medical and health issues. So then there really truly is a medical issue, whether it's liver or something else that
Right.
may qualify them to have an exception to drink packages and things like that.
So, Amy, one
Yeah,
of the things that I've learned about you in the several months that you've been working with DE and I is to not be afraid of asking the questions, and you're so good at coming up with these delicate ways of saying it, and I have to say, like, I would ignore it before I tried to approach it. So thank you. Like, I just always appreciate the fact that you have a way of addressing topics that are really kind of challenging. And like, I don't want you tell me, I don't want to ask you, but you kind of have
yeah.
to ask these days.
Definitely, definitely. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because it's something that I had not thought of because it's not my experience, but that a client actually told me, is our first instinct may be to say, oh, well, there's really great mocktails that you can have. But a lot of times when a client is in recovery, they don't necessarily want to kind of
Mimic.
like trigger that same part of their brain.
Yes.
And also make people around them nervous that they
Mhm.
don't know whether or not they're drinking. And so I would generally recommend steering clear of the mocktail suggestions unless they specifically ask about it.
That's a great one. And you never know, there can be mistakes happen as well when you're at different resorts where they
Yes.
hand you something that, I mean, that you're not intending to have. So
Yes. We
to stay
actually
away
had
from
that
that.
happen on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Um, we
And
had that
it's
happen on a cruise ship.
unintentional, but it can still be detrimental.
Yep. And so that's another thing is you could even tell them, recommend that if they're going to order a mocktail or a smoothie, that they have, one of their travel partners take a sip first for them.
Right. Right. That's great. Great words. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to answer our Ask KHM today. Viewers and listeners, if you have any other questions for us that you'd like us to share during the show, please go to our website, khmtoday.com, fill out the form, and we'll be happy to address your question live on the show. Thanks so much, Amy, for being here.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, this next gentleman who you saw just a few minutes ago was one of our very first guests on the show over 80 episodes ago. He has sort of retired from AmaWaterways, which we're going to chat about along with some other great things. So please welcome Gary Murphy, co-owner of AmaWaterways. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Carolyn. Good to
We
see
saw
you.
you just a few minutes ago.
Well, I got to see you. I got to enjoy your last conversation with Amy, so I appreciate that.
Yes, yes. So I guess my first question is do you think AmaWaterways should host and be the setting for the next James Bond film?
Oh boy, would I love that. You know what? Because we can make Vespers on Vesper Martini
Yes.
with roulette. That's the James Bond Martini. So if you haven't
Yes.
had one lately, now's the time.
Yes, we just don't want the ship blowing up, right? Like that would be a bad thing. That's
Yeah.
not part of the plot.
Yeah,
All right.
that would not be a good image for Ama.
Right. So
But Carolyn,
you
I have a
are
question for you. I have a
yeah,
question for you. So you've bought your Halloween candy,
the first round.
and have you opened the bag and eaten some early?
So I will tell you what I tend to do is buy the candy that I don't like. Um, this time I did buy, I haven't opened it yet, but it took every ounce of me not to open it last night because I bought Starbursts and Skittles and I really wanted something chewy. And it took every ounce to not open it. So that's why I say the first round, because usually I buy one bag and then I got to go back and buy more.
We opened ours yesterday.
And how's that going for you?
Well, I think I have to get a roll of duct tape and seal it up really well.
Yes, yes. So usually the buy what you don't like is a good plan of attack. That's usually
Anything
what I
covered
do.
in chocolate, I like. So.
So let's talk about what semi-retired means in the world of river cruising and when you co-own a company.
Well, it's not going too well in that I come into the office pretty much every day now. I have a different office now. Alex Pinella has taken my office. He's doing a phenomenal job. But as co-owner, I wanted to spend more time with my family. But then you discover the people I work with here are very much part of my family.
Yeah.
And thankfully, my family at home recognizes and appreciates it. My wife also said to me, Carolyn, I married you for thick and thin, better and worse, but not for lunch.
Yes,
So here
I
am.
wholeheartedly agree with that. I love it. Well, Ama's celebrating 20 years, which is extraordinary. And when a company is around for 20 years in the travel industry, it takes solid goals, vision, and a phenomenal product. So you really have to believe in what you're selling. So as advisors move into this final quarter of the year, what sort of strategies do you have for them to be selling and closing those sales in order to finish 2022 off with a bang?
Well, it's interesting, Carolyn, is that every Monday we have a management meeting, and Tuesday we have an inventory meeting where we go through what's selling. And usually by this time of the year, approaching the fourth quarter, we're pretty much put the year to bed and we're focusing on the next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much contrarian to that. We're still selling a lot of 2022. I think it's that pent-up demand. People put off their vacation plans. And now they're wanting to do the Christmas markets. They want to travel with their families. And we've come out with an offer, a very aggressive offer of a 20% off for the consumer to travel this year. And it's making the phones ring. Now, we don't want to lose sight that we have to build our 2023 business, but people are prepared to book close in right now.
Yeah.
And there's airspace available. So just have them pull that lever, promote the fact that we have plenty of space, not only us, but the other cruise lines have plenty of space because people sort of held back during a normal booking period, but now have decided, okay, let's take advantage of some great offers this year and go on vacation.
Well, and I think that people are really excited to do some of those last minute things. There's this, it's October, but I'm going to go away the first part of December. That's sort of unheard of in the past. We really didn't do that. These sorts of things were planned out years in advance. And now to think, I'm going to pop over to Europe and sail the Danube or the Rhine. It's just, it's so exciting.
Carolyn, they're traveling with friends, they're traveling with family. So all they do is say, I'm going to go on a Christmas market cruise, or I'm going to go over New Year's, and they share that information, and people say, "Can I go?"
Right.
And we're seeing that.
But we do want to be careful that we're only selling space that's actually there and not space, where there's one or two cabins left, and you're saying, "Hey, who wants to go?" And then realizing there isn't space available for everyone that wants to.
Well, for the fourth quarter of this year, we're just a little over 70% sold. Now, usually we'd be in the high 80s, low 90s. So we do have lots of space. So the Christmas markets are one of those bucket list items,
Yeah.
but also we have some wine cruises in early November that are a lot of fun to go on to.
Yes. Do you know, I just found out that you guys are hosting a celiac cruise with a local Colorado brewery called Holidaily. Did you know this?
Yeah, it's not the first time we've done this.
Yeah.
So it works well. And for people that want to travel with them, we can alter the dietary requirements on board. But with celiac, you have to be very, very careful. So there's a draw to it. And just like Amy's last conversation, if there's something sensitive and the client is okay, share it with us. We're a partner in this, and we want to make sure we deliver and meet those clients' expectations, especially on the dietary side. Sometimes better, Carolyn, actually will set up a meeting with our head chef and say, okay, you can't eat this, this, and this. Let's work on what you can eat. And he'll design that culinary experience around that with the client.
Well, and any great chef finds that a fun challenge, not a problem. It's more, okay, what can I make you that's delicious, that meets all of your requirements? We've found that in my family.
And they'll come to the table. They'll come to the table and say,
Yes.
okay, how was it?
Yeah. Did I hit it out of the park or not? So let's talk groups, because we all know that this is an incredible way to build business, make money, and there's just huge growth for travel advisors out there. So what are your words of advice when it comes to starting groups and maintaining those groups?
Well, those who are new to travel, or I always say, start working on groups. The individuals will come. The FITs will come. With AMA, group's only 5 cabins. So 9 paying berths, the 10th berth they've earned for themselves. They can sell that. They could give it to somebody. They can travel themselves. We have some phenomenal group offers. I'll make sure that you have, Carolyn, for anyone that's listening. But booking a group gets you focused. If it's not even going out to 2024, you book a group. It's with us, it's $25 per person to put the group into operation. We have a business sales manager in the territory, and let's start working on promoting the group, having the literature available, that the training available so they really know the itinerary. Because once the group goes, they make connections with their other travelers. And while you're traveling with the group, have that second group already booked that you could promote to them. Some travel advisors will even book 2 groups and promote, okay, next year I'm doing these 2 different itineraries to the people that are traveling with them. And those people have friends too. And set up a group night with your travel advisors. You could do it virtually or in person. It's great to find a venue and do it in person and just get the ball rolling. The $25, it's fully refundable, but what that does, it sort of gets your attention. Okay, so I put up, $600 or $500. Now I know it's sitting there. So it keeps reminding you, okay, I have to keep promoting my group, working my group, and see how it's tracking.
Right.
And we have a great team that'll help you do that. And it's extremely financially rewarding. Carolyn, we find, especially if you promote travel with me, that the group sticks. When COVID sort of ended and we start traveling again, we found the groups that all traveled were the groups where the travel advisor was saying, join me, come with me, because then they had someone to sort of, as it would say, hold their hand, but just sort of walk through. Now, keep in mind, we have a cruise manager, and the cruise manager will do all the heavy lifting. And if you do a pre or post, he's with you there too. So just get the group on the ship and we'll take care of everything else. And the marketing and the follow-up we also do air. We have a phenomenal group offer that I'll send you about air that is good through the end of this year. But just take that first step and book a group.
So I'm going to throw a scenario at you, because this is me. This isn't even someone else's Ask KHM Today. One of the challenges, I have done groups and they work when other people come to me with their group and say, we want to do this, or it's a wedding or whatever. No problem. I am constantly talking to agents. I've heard their stories, and you are absolutely right. The Come With Me group is the most successful. in my stage in life, I have found that the come with me is a challenge because my surrounding people are still have kids in school, kids in college. They have a hard time taking that time and spending the money for just the two people to go on vacation instead of the whole family. So what sort of advice do you have for me? Because I do have friends that this would be so fun to do it with.
Well, first of all,
do we plan so far out that everyone says, yes, I'm going to make it happen?
you plan far out in advance to give you time to build the group itself and understand it's okay to fail, right? It's okay to fail because you learn by your mistakes, right? And I said that $25 is fully refundable.
Yeah.
And you learn from it. When I'm promoting a group, and you can't be all things to all people. If you're doing a ladies group, right? So a girls group. So this way, the husband all of a sudden, okay, I guess I have to watch the kids, or a spouse group. They trade off. My wife's done multiple girls trips on river cruising, where I blocked the time off when my kids were younger, and I had to, stay home or accommodate her travel experience. But I also do this. If you're doing an event, let's say at a local hotel or some center, a community center that we block off or promoting the group, Carolyn, I stand in the parking lot and see what type of cars are coming in. Because it further educates you on the market. Okay, look at this market. All right, they have some money. Oh, this might be a little difficult. Or come up with a niche. We do these wine cruises. We've done when you stitch all the pieces of cloth together.
Oh, quilting.
Quilting group. You talk about a celiac group. We also do that type of work very, very well. That if you have an interest, right? If you want to tour cathedrals, or you have an opera singer, or you want to just throw it at the wall and let us work with you and watch what'll happen. We do some music groups. We do a jazz group. On that first group, and eventually took over the whole ship. They sold out their next departure within 2 days on that ship. And now it keeps going on and on and on. So it's just investing that time in coordination with us, with your business development manager, and building upon it. And it's okay not to be successful the first time or second time. You have to get up and try again, and you will learn how best to do it.
I love it. Thank you. Okay, before I let you go, I have one more question to ask you. So we got to talk about the 46-night 7-river journey. This is crazy in a good way.
Okay. Honestly, when the marketing team got together and said, okay, this is what we'd like to do, I thought, okay, this is very sexy. It'll draw a lot of attention, but I don't see anyone purchasing it. I love to be proven wrong. There is a market out there, Carolyn, of people that want to of people that want to. Now we have 2023 available. We have 2024, I think, launching, where people are just marking that calendar down, putting in their calendar, and are prepared to cruise with us for that extended period of time. A lot of them are past cruisers with us. They've done a week or two, and now they say, okay, I want to be with the same cruise manager. I'm going to take care of everything, and we're just going to have this blissful 7-week, 7-river itinerary.
We are seeing this pattern throughout the cruise industry as a whole, these longer, exclusive, innovative itineraries that are being gobbled up by consumers. And it's just, it's fantastic. It's just astounding to me that not the fact that people want to travel for this length of time. I've got lots of clients that want to do that, but I just think it's the coolest trend out there. And I think it's when you think of a trend, it's something that goes in and out. This is sticking around. I don't see this going anywhere.
I think people that have the time and the finances are saying, I want to do something really incredible in my life before I can't do it anymore. And they're deciding to book this. Now, as you know, 95% of our business comes through our travel advisor partners. So it's great to have them there to walk the clients through it, so they can sort of set their expectations. And of course, our business development managers could be part of that conversation.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to share knowledge and hear your thoughts. And I'm going to do some heavy thinking here on starting my first group. I feel motivated now.
I just feel like I have so much more to say, Carolyn, but I know I have to say goodbye.
I know, but you know what? There's always another show. So we'll have you on again for sure.
Thank you for this opportunity. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. All right, you guys, we have been talking about sustainable tourism and travel and ways to be greener in our world for many, many weeks now. And our next guest is no stranger to the show. Please welcome Ashley Newton, part of our video and marketing team at KHM Travel Group. She is just an all around, kind of a little bit about everything. And I love the fact that you have some sustainable hacks to help us travel. And as we know, I have been trying to pack smarter, not heavier, and in carry-ons. And some of these things will help me do that.
Yes. Well, I have just been enthralled with some of the topics. I mean, I'm always a huge fan of the show, but I love the focus towards sustainable travel and really finding easy real life things that we can do and share with others. So I have my little bag of tricks, of course, my reusable tote bag. But I just want to start with some of the basics. So stick with me because there's some fun stuff at the end. So if you're like, oh, I know this, that's all right. Maybe somebody else doesn't. You got to spread the word. So my first sort of hack is to think about stuff that you can buy once and then sort of continually reuse, right? Because reduce, reuse, recycle, that's our motto. So some things that I love to have on hand and then just keep refilling. So you do have to buy it once, but then never again. So like if you use any over-the-counter medicines, they have these little like travel tubes that you can find in the travel section. You only have to buy it once and then you just continually restock it. Ideally with the same, but I won't lie, this Dramamine is now allergy medication because I was at a cabin in the woods and I was going to have a really hard time without it. So hack number one, if you don't do that and start buying them and then you just need it once. They're also perfect for little gifts or client giveaways. I do the same thing with a little Q-tip holder because I'm always like, and then you don't have to remember too, because I can't tell you the amount of times I get somewhere and I'm like, I don't have Q-tips.
Yep.
It's the weirdest thing, but like for makeup or for anything. So buy it once, restock, love it. I do have poopery as well. I am not ashamed to admit that. I carry it with me. It makes me feel more confident, just like the girl in the commercial.
And so do the people that you're rooming with.
Right. So it's a little trickier to refill these because they really don't want you, but I can figure it out. And I'm sure that you can too. So that's another one. Goodness, what else do I have in my fun bag of tricks? Oh yeah. And now I'm sure we've talked about these on the show, but if by chance you do not have these or somebody in your life does not have these refillable like shampoo, conditioner bottles, 10 out of 10 recommend, get on it. They are the best. I love it because you don't have to worry about going out and buying the mini ones. So it saves you time and it saves you money and it helps the planet a little bit. And I've seen a lot of different styles. I have these cute little penguins that I adore, but like you can see they're not hard plastic.
Yeah.
And I love that because then I can really kind of shove them in my suitcase, or I usually end up putting them in my carry-on because they are so small.
Yeah.
And then you can change the label. So you can have 2 conditioners. I personally use more conditioner than shampoo, whatever, you can sunscreen, body wash, whatever. So if you're not on it, get on it.
That's awesome. I have to tell you, I do that with the mouthwash, right? You can buy the mouthwash in the little bottles. And then on the same line of your pills, you should label those bottles. I was recently with friends on a trip and someone said, oh, I need some ibuprofen. And I said it a little too loud in the airport. I said, well, I don't know what I have. I just have a little bag of white pills, and everyone started. And then I heard how that actually said out loud. And I thought, oh my gosh, are the police going to come?
Right.
But I don't really know what they were. But I knew that they would relieve pain. But for some people, you really do need to know, is it Advil? Is it Tylenol?
Yes. I am one of those people, Tylenol does not really work well with me. So I stick to Advil, but it is basically just ibuprofen. So I'll refill it with the generic, but know what you're taking.
Know what's in your baggie.
And if you're offering it to other people, be very clear if you're unsure, because you don't want You don't want that mess. You're on vacation. You're trying to have a good time. All right. Another little tip for your toiletries or anything, instead of getting the same Ziploc bag over and over again, I have this reusable Ziploc that actually says right on it that it is TSA compliant. So I can just put all my liquids in here. Again, I don't need to worry about if I have one at home or rushing out to the store. I did overstuff it a little. So this one's kind of breaking on me and I might need a new one, but I love having it ready to go, knowing it's the right size, super convenient. And I use these in my kitchen all the time, these reusable Ziplocs. So if you can't find one like that, these are super easy to find. I like the pinchy ones and not the like zipper ones. I just find they close a little better. And I use these again all the time, not just when I'm traveling, but I use them in my kitchen. So dual use, dual purpose. So that's fun. Reusable bags. And of course you have to shout out. Oh, I forgot one. This one's so silly, but I have to mention it because I know a lot of people just buy the cheap little toothbrushes every time they travel. And I don't like that. I mean, there's so much plastic, there's so much waste. So I just get these caps. I clean them. After a while, I get a new one. But I like it too because when I'm on a cruise or in a hotel, I don't want to just set my toothbrush down on the counter. I don't want to like hover it over the sink and pray it doesn't fall in. So then I can just cap it, set it down. It's sanitary. It's ready to go. It fits on everything. So again, silly little tricks. But if you haven't thought of it, or maybe somebody in your life hasn't thought of it, share the knowledge, right? And I know we've talked about this a bunch. Reusable straws. This one is so small. It can fit anywhere. It has the cleaner right in it. It extends. They make great gifts. Honestly, I carry it with me. There's a little cleaner. I just love those. I've never even used it, but I like having it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So one more thing. And now we're getting into the fun ones. So if you're still with me, thank you.
I'm still here. I'm like, waiting. What's she going to pull out next? It's like Mary Poppins.
Honestly, one of my favorite things. It is a collapsible water bottle. So if you're listening, you can't see how small it is, but honestly, it's very small. Like fits in the palm of my hand. I love it for if you're trying to get away with just a carry-on when you're flying or anything. But honestly, I use it when I hike. So I get tons of use out of it. And then it just extends into a full-size water bottle like that. What I like about this particular one too is it's wide in the mouth, so you can screw off the entire top. And then it's easy to clean. It's easy to fill. I genuinely love this. And honestly, it was like $8. So like
that's a good one. And it's so lightweight too. If you're carrying it and hiking or walking, it's so lightweight. Yep.
I've worn this one out a little already. It's this little strap's broken, but I love these. They have a ton of different styles and brands too that like might be better with cool and hot beverages. So you just got to find what works for you. And I do want to shout out, I know you mentioned you do the Crystal Light packets in a past episode with your theme park bag. I love the little Gatorade packets. I use them at home too because I try to keep my electrolytes up and all the plastic bottles just drive me insane. So grabbing a few of these, then you can turn your water into whatever flavor you want. So just had to say, I do this too. It's a good habit.
I love them. Those are my favorite. Yep. My kids have gotten into the Mio drops too.
Yeah. You know, you got to mix it up from time to time. All right. So my last one is something called a makeup eraser. This is really cool. It's a makeup remover or any sort of beauty products that you may be using. And I won't lie, I got this as a gift from my grandma. She's the best. Shout out to Grams. But I was pretty skeptical because when I took it out of the box, you can see it looks sort of like a sleep mask with no strap on it. But it's like just this pink fluffy thing. And if you feel it, it's very soft. It doesn't feel oily or like it, and it has no chemicals on it. So I was like, how is this actually going to remove my makeup? And I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna take off half my face and we're gonna see it. And I promise it works. All you have to do is get it wet. And I have used this for a week straight. I mean, you do want to get home and wash it after that, but it'll last for a week. So you just gotta get it wet, which I have a little water next to me. I'm in the studio, so I'm trying to be like so neat with it. Yeah, so you can see, I mean, I'm getting really close, but like I have a little bit of makeup on. I'm just going to take it off.
And there's nothing on it.
Not at all. But you can already see, like, look at that. Yeah. And there's like an exfoliating side, and oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm doing this. There's an exfoliating side, and there's like a buffing side.
I love that. And so you'd rinse it and use it the next day.
Yeah, as long as it's dry and you have water, like it'll work and it'll take it off. And I even have this cloth. I'm going to show you how well it works as long as I make sure I got.
Because this is crazy. Because what I normally carry are those makeup wipes.
Yeah.
And it can be bulky.
And of course, yes. So it saves you space in your suitcase, but also, you're just throwing those right away.
Right.
They're not really like you can't flush them. They don't really decompose. But okay, so I took that off and look, nothing.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Completely
I feel like you're blowing my mind here. And this is the best stocking stuffer. Everyone is getting one.
No, I was shocked at how well it works. And I've washed it and reused it. And I don't even need a new one yet. I've had it for over a year. Granted, I don't wear a lot of heavy makeup and I don't wear it every day. But again, I use this at home. I use it when I travel. If you're trying to keep your liquids down and you still use like a liquid makeup remover, now you don't have to. So yeah, those are just a few ways that you can be a little bit more kind to your environment.
I love it. Ashley, thank you so much. And we're going to get those details from you and put them in the description because I think everyone's going to be buying these things. I am going to be buying them for sure. Really fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. I will say I'm going to drop probably some Amazon links because we all know that's easy. And, sometimes convenience is the most important thing. But if you can, shop local, shop small. That also is a good way to help the environment and sort of make your footprint a little smaller. But we're all guilty of it. I do Amazon too. So
thank you, Ashley. You guys, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to all of our fantastic guests and to our overall show sponsor, Apple Leisure Group. It was just mind blowing today. What a fun afternoon for me. And I hope for all of you as well. Next week, we do not have a live show because I'll be in Brunswick at our home office in Ohio with our Boot Camp 2.0 group. So I'm really excited to be there with them. We'll be working with some fantastic agents all week long, but please join me back here on October 19th for some really fantastic guests. You guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Thanks for joining.